International Reggae Commission of America presents Word on the Street with your host, Randy Cliff. Produced and directed by King Joseph. And now, welcome to Word on the Street. Word on the Street.
Welcome to Word on the Street. I'm your host, Randy Cliff.
And I'm your co-host, by King Joseph.
And here at Word on the Street, we like to deal with a lot of different socially and spiritually conscious issues and concerns, things that are going on in the world and in our solar system you see here. Particularly concerned about planet Earth. I mean, there's a lot going on out there. The planet's going through changes. Political systems are changing, economic systems, the whole bit. And one of the things that caught my attention recently on the news was this whole Occupy Wall Street movement. And it was interesting because there's a lot of people involved in it, but they didn't really give much detail or information really about what the protesters were about or what the agenda was. Have you heard anything about it?
Well, I was watching Fox News the other night, and as you know, I'm not a big condoner of Fox News, but or any of the other major media outlets. But I was, just happened to be watching it that night, and they were talking about the whole Occupy Wall Street movement. They didn't get into too many specifics about the movement, but they were showing how the movement has reached Atlanta. They were saying that the people were starting to gather down in Woodruff Park and, set up tents and, put up signs, and I guess they're having certain rallies down there as well. And they were saying how the mayor was at a crossroads as to whether or not allow them to stay and protest or, have them evicted from the park because certain guidelines and regulations, codes. And
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Make the necessary calls, get the crew together, get the van, and let's go down to Woodruff Park and talk to the people directly and find out for ourselves from the street.
Okay.
It looks like it's gonna rain, but that can't stop production because hey, they're out there. We need to make our move and get the word on the street for real.
That's right. That's right. So that's exactly what we're going to do, world. We're going to go out down to Woodruff Park here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're going to talk to ones and get their views and opinions and try to find out exactly what is at the root of this whole Occupy Wall Street movement. So we'll be right back after this.
Word on the street.
What's up, America? This is yours truly by King, the IRCA, International Reggae Commission of America. We're out here in Woodruff Park today, Atlanta, Georgia, trying to figure out what exactly is going on, you know? We've been watching the news, keeping up with what's going on CNN and MSNBC and Fox News, and we haven't really been able to put our finger on exactly what is the root cause of the whole rioting, not only here in Atlanta, but all over the world, you know. So we're down here speaking with ones-on-ones and getting their opinions and their views, and we're gonna post it so that you, the American audience, can see for yourself just what's going on behind the scenes here in America. And we're gonna start it out.
I was able to speak to Reverend Hurricane Carter, and he said to me that if the prosecutors and judges were held to the same accountability as the innocent citizens, then you'd see a lot less crime. A lot less crime. So let me give you a couple more tips. You can begin to reduce your tax burden today. The way you reduce your tax burden is you get it together with people who have what you need and you give it to them for free. They give you what you need for free. There's no taxes. Now I just freed you from at least 70% of your taxes. If you have the heart enough to turn to each other and not on each other, we can do this thing.
I heard you guys. Okay, good. Well, we're basically committed to music commission, but on top of that, we're a socially conscious organization. And we came down here because, like you said, mainstream media is just now picking up on this story. And from what I've seen, they're kind of touting that there's no clear-cut agenda, there's no one aim to the movement. I mean, what do you see as the aim of this, or what's your purpose in being out here?
Well, I'm part of a group here that's called the Radical Caucus. That it's kind of like the more radicals that are here, like the socialists and the anarchists and stuff. And basically, we had a march last night for Jotavius, and like some of the liberals here got a little upset because we got kind of confrontational. We're very upset about what happened. But in terms of clear message, I think there's so much wrong with society that it's hard to really, for anybody to pinpoint like what our demands need to be, because the problem with like capitalism is so ingrained and like our way of thinking that breaking that is like too much for any one demand to really attack concisely.
Define, distribute petroleum, chemicals, energy.
I mean, I think there's
paper. They employ 50,000
plethora of problems. I mean,
40,000 in 59 other countries.
Personally, I'm out here to be a smaller part of the bigger picture.
Is going to be owned either by organizations or by a relatively small number of shareholders.
Array of things going on. It came from the Wall Street thing that started 4 weeks ago, and it's becoming something the world can't ignore.
To lobby in Washington.
But when you get out here, it does seem unfocused. Like you come down to Atlanta and you look around and you start to see at a small scale it seems very unfocused. But every small group has to come up with their own what's important to us. And when you come to Atlanta, what's important to Atlanta seems to be joblessness and homelessness. I mean, you know, if you try to tie it back to what's going on Wall Street, you look up to the GP building, you know, the Georgia Pacific building, and say it is that's the corporate greed in Atlanta. It's the Koch brothers. It's that $2 billion that influences the political machine. But really, what's important in Georgia is joblessness and homelessness. It's the homeless shelter that they're going to close down on Peachtree Street. So, you know, that's where they need to start focusing. While they may do one rally there, they need to focus their rally on going to that shelter and saying, if they're going to shut down this shelter, they need to show where else they can open another shelter. They need to show that their funding may not be here, or they're not putting the proper funding into this place. You know, people are getting TB, they're getting bed bugs, they're getting sicker when they're trying to stay in a shelter. So they need to start putting the proper funding into places. It's not working right, you know. So we need to be showing that there are places that are just dormant. There's buildings that are sitting because there's just no funding. There's not the top down, you know, they're talking about is not coming down. There's buildings sitting when they need to be addressing this problem of homelessness. And that seems to be the biggest problem in Atlanta right now. As far as, you know, talking to people, that's what I'm getting as the problem in Atlanta. It's joblessness and homelessness.
We've got to love one another.
But as a larger part of the problem, I'm thinking it's the corporate manipulation of politics. I mean, a lot of conservatives feel that it's government, but in my mind, it's still the money behind government. And that comes from somewhere on high. So that, in my mind, has to be addressed first.
Who do you think who are these people, the 1%?
1%. The Bilderberg Group, right? The Bilderberg Group, right? The Bilderberg Group, right? The Bilderberg Group, right?
That's what I'm feeling, you know.
It's those guys. And that top story.
All this ties into the new Obama healthcare plan. Is it all interrelated?
I'm not pleased with his healthcare plan. I'm not pleased with it at all. Everybody's required by law to buy insurance from the insurance company, right? That's the law. They are going to insure the children, but I think that's like just throwing us a bone. You're going to insure our children. That's nice, but I'm the one that works and put the food on the table, and I'm glad you're taking care of my child. But what about me? I mean, you know, in other countries they have this, and it's working. You know, and every complaint they coming up and they throwing in your face about it, they go to the emergency room and sit there like 45 minutes and they treat it. They don't get no $600 bill. $600 bill. No $600 bill. No $600 bill. You know?
Well, you're the first one actually that we've spoken to who has a specific grievance about
I'm a specific victim.
A health care issue. But as far as like this whole movement of Occupy Woodruff Park, what do you see as the mission or the agenda?
I think it's fantastic. I think it's what we need to do. They do it in other countries on any little thing because they're a part of that country. And here a lot of people don't feel like they're a part of the country. You know, I'm not seeing a whole lot of people of color out here, you know, and didn't really expect it. But yeah, they don't feel like they're a part of this country, but I try to tell people this is your country. And I try to tell them, you know how they come up with these laws? Like the law they have when people go to school, they got to pay, they get thousands of dollars in debt for going to school, like $76,000 some people for going to school. In other countries, they send them to school. They send them to school because they're all a part of that society. And here they have a law that you can't discharge a student loan under bankruptcy. Who do you think came up with that law? The people that's making money off of these children getting student loans. So it's a hard country to live in.
So what do you think is the solution? I mean, what would you offer?
What we're doing here now, we need to get more people to do this. I mean, this helps.
Raising awareness.
Without any paramedics ever coming up to see. So I don't think that would ever happen in any well-to-do community. We think that it's a class issue, definitely a race issue, and we feel like the police department is out of hand and out of control as a whole. And we think that there has to be some justice. It's not. We're not fearing Bloods, Crips. We're not fearing the people that they claim to be criminals. We're fearing the police department. We're fearing the police department when we're riding down the street in our cars and they pull us over and they snatch us out of our cars. When they decide to go into our pockets whenever they feel like it. You understand what I'm saying? Not because of the fact that we committed any crimes, but we fit the description. And what is the description? We're black, we're poor, and we're oppressed, colonized people here in this country. And we think that that has to stop because it's not what America is supposed to be about.
Station, downtown Atlanta. We're here with the Occupy Atlanta protest. And in the course of this, we found out that a young man named Joe Stratford was murdered by the MARTA police on the 15th of October in Vine City. We just approached a MARTA police officer to talk to him about it. He refused to speak to us and told us that there was some type of public relations liaison or someone that we could talk to. But he really didn't give us any real information. And as you can see right now, there's camera crews from Fox set up over across the street, interviewing ones and ones to find out what their outlook on it is. And all I can say is that it's a heated situation. and we have a lot of divergent opinions and viewpoints. There's a lot of people that represent different causes, different little splinter groups, I guess, but they're all converging with a general overall dissatisfaction with the society and with the occurrences that have been taking place as of recent. We're going to try to get some more interviews with a few key people, see if we can get some more insight. Are all saying that there's not really any specific focus or agenda to the Occupy Atlanta movement protest. And I wanted to find out, what's your take on it? What do you see as the agenda or the main purpose for this?
I mean, I think they might have a point, but at the same time, this isn't necessarily a protest, it's a people's movement. And what we're trying to do here is set up a public forum where people can come no matter what time of day or night and talk about what they want to see change, you know, in our society and in our government. So, I mean, I think that's a large part of the reason why we don't have any specific demands yet.
We're back here again at the Occupy Atlanta movement. I'm here with my man, what's your name?
James.
James. And James is going to talk to us for a brief minute and give his viewpoint on what this whole thing is about, what the agenda is, and basically what the grievances are. James, how do you see it?
I see this as a movement. This is a movement to stop homelessness, to stop the 99% from having to struggle on an everyday basis because people don't want to work in unity. People want to be greedy and they want to have everything for themselves. There's too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
So who do you see as that 1%? Who is this 1%?
It's the big guys, the big chiefs, ones who own these corporations around here. You got banks, you know, Bank of America is a big one. I was just watching the news today. It says that their total income was astounding and higher than it's ever been before. And it's those guys right there, the ones who don't want to give jobs and just try to take the taxpayers' money. People who don't have the money to give in the first place.
But James, what do you see as potential solutions to this situation?
Right now, what we're doing is we're trying to get people to become one, become in unity, work together. If you're a Christian or whatever, you look in the Bible, go back to the Tower of Babel.